Good evening. Gracias.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Oh,
Hi. Oh, there you are. Hi, Bo.
Okay, tonight we're going to be doing some image streaming. A little bit of breath work goes along with that. But you'll need a pencil or some kind of a pen, pencil, or something you
I
can
got
hold
it.
on to that you can drop.
Okay, I got it. Won't need paper, but I got pencil.
Okay. Now,
Mhm.
what I have here, I have just made these. It's just some branches from home.
Mm.
And I just put it on a string. And I've got sycamore. I've got here I got 4 different Hollywoods. Um, it's wood from a holly tree. So I've got honeysuckle, Hollywood, and sycamore. So just whatever you choose. Anything will work for this. It doesn't have to be wood. It could be plastic. I have used like prescription bottles, a little medicine bottle stuff, anything I happen to have at hand. But at home, I use a mouse to do it at home. I rigged it up so when you push down on the button, it doesn't sound. You lift your finger up, it makes a noise. But the stick idea works really good too.
Yeah.
The pencil idea, because everyone's got
I think
pencil.
I think I saw that in like the Silva thing, didn't I? Like or something I saw where he would like take naps and hold pens.
Yeah,
I think it was.
well, I don't remember in silver stuff, but it certainly would be compatible because what you're trying to do is get down to that theta state, however you do it.
Okay.
Usually, what you do with hypnosis stuff like that is you walk down steps, and go to a beach and relax on a warm beach and that kind of stuff. But what I found is this idea here works even better, at least for me. Everyone has their own way of doing things, but I found this works pretty good. So, but anyway, before we get all to that, is that uh, image streaming is basically an out of body experience where it's just like dreaming. When you're dreaming at night, that's really an out of body experience because you're having emotional reaction. You're seeing things. You're experiencing something, but you don't know you're in your body because you don't realize you have a body because your body's in bed, but your consciousness is somewhere else. So, in truth of it, it's kind of like an out of body experience to some degree, but not necessarily like most people talk about. So image streaming, what you're trying to do is get down to that theta state, and we'll talk about how to get to there, and then just experience. Either you can ask to go someplace, or you just experience something. Usually, what I do when I started, I just want to experience something. Okay, you go to the theta state, and you start seeing things. Now, I guess the way I look at it is that God is consciousness. They say God is spirit, but God is consciousness, and you are consciousness too. So to me, it's like you've done design work before, haven't you, Jenny? Some kind of
I
design
don't
work.
know.
Well, anybody who does design work, particularly if they're familiar with other people's design work, um, you can look at it and say, "Oh, John did that," just by the way it's constructed. Okay, like when I did circuit design. Yeah, there's a signature when you're doing certain craft. Okay, you look at, oh, John did that or Jane did that or something. I know when I did design work for Logic's design, you think that would be straightforward, but uh, I could look at a design and say, oh, I know who did that work because everyone's a little bit different. Okay, now, reason for talking about that is that God is consciousness and so are you. So God created everything with consciousness because God is consciousness. Well, you have it as well. So what you're doing when you're dreaming at night, you're creating just the same way that God created, because you have your consciousness and you're creating just like God created us. Okay, so that power is within you to access. So, um, so when you're doing this kind of work, realize this is how creation was done. This is how everything got started. And there's a lot of experiments you can do once we get going on this kind of stuff. For instance, when you're dreaming, or even you can do it. I did this with image streaming as well. Is that I went into image streaming process, and I saw like a 1880s New Orleans, really old, had old carriages, women dressed in old clothes, and kids walking down the street with the funny hats on, all kinds of stuff like that. And a little dog was running down along the road. And I realized, because I'm in this theta state, but I'm still conscious. I'm seeing all these things and I'm marveling at how detailed everything is. And I said to myself, I'm creating all these things. But not myself consciously, but these things are happening, coming through me. Okay. So I said, I wonder what it'd be like to put my consciousness in that dog. So then all of a sudden your consciousness goes from where you are looking at everything to being in the dog, looking out the dog's eyes. There's all kinds of experiments you can do with this kind of stuff to say that we are consciousness, and it can manifest in many different ways.
I've done that, but it was with a bird.
Yeah, you can do it with anything because you're creating it and you're in control of it. And consciousness has no limit. It's infinite. So it's just a matter how you want to apply it. And so the more you access this stuff, you realize everything is consciousness and you can use it any way that you want. Okay. It's just exploring that and believing. Now, image streaming has three different things to it. One is that you're supposed to, when you're image streaming, you're supposed to be talking out loud. Okay. So generally, you want to be talking to a tape recorder or having some kind of observer that you're talking to. Because lots of times when you're image streaming, you may forget some detail. So the other person can say, oh, they can notice details that you didn't notice. Okay. But I have done all this stuff alone as well. But when I do it, I talk to myself. Okay. I will describe a scene that I'm seeing. And so I'm talking, but I'm talking internally. Okay. So you have to have that, not only the visual, but some kind of auditory thing as well, even if the auditory is your own imagination. So one is that you want to be able to say what you're seeing. Okay. The other part is you want to try to use as many senses as possible. Now, I'm kind of limited to visual. And I can feel things with my hands, and I can see things, but I can't taste anything, and I've never been able to hear anything. Okay, for some reason when I'm doing these things. And the other thing is when you're doing this, it has to be like it's present time, like you're really experiencing this now. It's not something that you're seeing; you're actually experiencing now. It's not a replay of something.
Right.
Okay.
It's the present moment. Yeah.
You're in the present moment. You're seeing all these things in the present moment. This is a moment of creation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, that's kind of a background. Now, what I've done, you guys pick what you want to do. You use this. Okay, Megan's going to use I was going to say poison, but honeysuckle wine.
Honeysuckle wine.
And Adam is using.
I'll use my crystal.
Right. You can use anything. The thing about it is that you got to drop it.
Okay, well, I'll put it back and I'll use my pen.
Yeah. Okay. Now what I've done here is I've just attached a string so that so when you're holding it, so when you can put it on your hand like this, and then when you're holding it, then when you drop it, it didn't actually drop on the floor.
I have my string from last week's. Yep, right here. I can put a string on it.
Okay. So that way you can keep it doesn't bounce onto the couch or something. Get on your hands and knees and get up on the couch or something.
Resourceful.
Right. Being prepared and not even realizing it.
Grandma would be so proud.
But I could be
No,
Back it is.
resourceful. That you were that resourceful just now. Grandma would be so
Oh.
proud.
Thanks.
Okay, now, when you're doing this, what we're gonna be doing is, you're gonna be holding this very loosely in your hand. So you'll need to have a position where you're very comfortable. There you go. That works. Something like that.
Oh, I guess I'd have to actually tie the string to where it won't come apart. I tied it like a 2-year-old.
That's okay.
All right, I think I got it this time. Megan distracted me with Grandma would be proud.
She's still proud. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, now the process is, okay, what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna rest your arm someplace so it's comfortable. You don't really want to hold it up here because that's hard, that's requires some tension. So you want to have like your arm resting on something, like resting on something. So that you're kind of free. You want to be able to hold the pencil very loosely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I
And
have
then,
it. I have it hanging off a pillow.
That's perfect. Exactly. That's a good way to do it. That's typical way I do it at home. Now, what you're going to do, the breath work part is you're just going to take deep breaths. You don't count them. All you're going to do is you want to not have any thought for the moment. You want to be able to just take deep breaths, real deep, and let it out. You don't count them, because some people say inhale on the count of 4, exhale on the count of 2. You don't need to do any of that stuff. All you need to do is just take a deep breath and then relax. Take a deep breath, let it out slowly. Take another deep breath. And you might get to the point where you're feeling a little lightheaded. If you're starting to feel a little lightheaded, just back off a little bit.
Okay? Yeah, it's always good. I heard it's always best to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth.
I've heard that too.
So yeah.
But I've tried it both ways. I'm not feeling a difference. But generally,
I guess it depends on comfort. Yeah.
Just what you feel comfortable doing. I've done it both ways. Typically, I breathe through the nose, out through the mouth. I just typically do it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. But because when you exhale through your mouth, you can exhale faster. You can breathe in.
Right.
Okay. So it's very easy.
So it's like a slow, steady breath in because you're wanting to pull in that oxygen, hold it for a second, and then release through your mouth.
Very, very good. That's a very good description. Okay. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
You might be getting ready to explain this, but so you're telling us the theta state is where we're going.
You're going to the theta state.
Okay, but can you explain for everyone the levels of?
Okay. Jenny, you've had Silva, right?
I've only seen a couple of videos. I have not had the training.
Okay, well,
no.
Okay, in the Silva mind control course, but they say basically you have many different levels of brainwave activity. Typically, where we are right now, we're conversing, we have our eyes open. It's called the beta state. So you're in beta. Okay. If your brainwave, if it's really excited and lots of going on, typically your brainwave goes higher. That's called the gamma state. And some people, I know some psychics work in the gamma state. Their mind just racing. Okay. I know a number of people who are really good psychics tell me that they work in the gamma state. But typically we're in the beta. Now, beneath beta, if you close your eyes and just relax a little bit, okay, you're aware of your body, you're aware of your surroundings and everything like that. Maybe you're listening to music. You're in the alpha state. And that's typically the state that Silva mind control tells you to be in. That's the relaxed state, okay, the alpha state. But you really want to go to the theta state, which is one below that. Okay, so you normally you're in beta, then you go to alpha, then you go to theta. Below theta is delta. In delta, you're unconscious. Okay, you're not aware of anything. And actually, when you're dreaming, you're not in delta state when you're dreaming, even though you're asleep, because you come back out to a theta state when you're dreaming. So you're cycling between theta and delta when you're asleep at night. Okay. Now below delta, there's a thing called epsilon, which is very low frequency. And a person who can, like yogas, who can be buried alive, that their heart rate almost goes to zero and their breath goes almost to zero because they're in the epsilon state. But I don't plan on going there very often
Wow.
myself. So there's
I've
all
never
kinds-
heard of that. That's a goal, man.
Yeah, if yogas can do that, where it appears.
I mean, not to be buried alive, but to slow my breathing.
that,
Yeah, that's not the wish, okay? We're not manifesting that.
yeah.
yogas,
Spirit.
yeah, yogas can apparently appear to be dead because they go to such a low brainwave and such a low metabolism. Okay, now, so what we're doing, the experience is you're going to be holding it very loosely with your fingers, like this, just very loosely. Then you're going to take your breath, just be closing your eyes, and take your deep breaths through your nose, release through your mouth, and your thoughts should just disappear. Okay, if you have a thought, you need to dismiss it. Just concentrate on your breath. Okay, breathing in, breathing out. Now, what you're going to experience every time I've ever done this is that, first of all, you're going to start feeling your heartbeat in your fingers. Because typically, you don't. Right now, you probably don't feel the heartbeat in your fingers. But when you get to a certain level, you're going to start feeling your heartbeat in your fingers. It's going to feel that your pen or your piece of wood or whatever feels very slippery, like you can't hold on to it. It's like it's getting very slick. And it's starting to feel very heavy. Okay, you think, my gosh, this is so heavy, I can't hold on to it. And then when you get into the theta state, you don't care. I don't care if I drop it. Okay, that's when you're in the beta state, you have this idea, I want to hold on to it. But when you get in the theta state, you don't care. I just don't care. Drop it. Okay, now, here's one of the things that I found to be very, very useful. I mean, I talked about if you're in design, you can see the handiwork of other people, other designers. Well, what's one of the first things God did when He started creating the heavens and the earth? Let there be light. Okay, so what I do whenever I get to that theta state, as soon as I drop my object where I'm holding, I just say to myself, let there be light.
I love that.
Because typically up to that point, you're going to be seeing dark. Everything can be dark. Okay. And I just say, let there be light. Sometimes it's fireworks. Sometimes I see just a little bit of light that grows brighter and brighter. Then I start seeing things. I see animals. I see scenes. I start feeling things like that. So you go through here, you're going to be going through those cycles. Going from beta to alpha to theta, and when you drop your object, you're actually in delta. Okay, because you're unconscious. When you drop it, usually you're unconscious. But the fact that you dropped it brings you back into the theta state, and you try to stay there for some length of time. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that.
Well, so when we start relaxing and the pictures start coming, now image streaming, is that just like letting the pictures come? Or
Yeah.
I feel like I miss, okay.
Yeah, you can.
Gotcha.
There's several ways to do this. You're in charge of your consciousness. You can say,
Right.
just give me a show. This is what I used to do when I was in seventh grade. I said, show me a movie. Okay, just show me something. Or you could say, I want to be directed some particular way. I want to go here. I want to go there. I mean, something like remote viewing is done this way as well. So if you want to know something's happening in some distant city, you can use this technique for that same process.
Okay.
But generally, what you do when you're first starting, you just want to start seeing things. It's like a dream. Okay, but you're aware that you're dreaming. Okay.
Yeah. So I've done this without knowing I'm doing it. So I got you.
Most people
I understand.
have. Most people have. Okay, so just relax. Hold the object very loosely in your hand. Close your eyes. And just start taking deep breaths. Now, and start talking to yourself. Now, since there's many people here, and we don't have like a partner, just talk internally to yourself. And we'll do this for maybe half an hour or something like that. Then we'll come back together and see what everyone had, what experience everyone had.
Yeah. Or we could always stop the video too, so we're not half hour of everybody just.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
or I don't know. That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. You want to do that? You'll stop it. And so we come back when we finish the exercise.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, Jenny.
All right, because I don't think people are gonna want to watch a half hour of us breathing.
Right.
Or you guys can record it and then share it if something cool happens, but I would turn my video off and all that good stuff.
Well, we will come back for part 2.
All right, let me know.
Yes, we will be in touch.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.